Good morning, everybody. Natalie in Studio 32. You made it up here by the hair of your chinny chin chin.
I don't have any hairs on my chin, do I?
No,
Because now that I'm
today.
in my 40s, you know, I gotta look at those things,
Indeed
Anthony.
you do.
Yes.
Indeed you do. Welcome to Chicago Now. Friday, we made it to Friday.
We did.
Natalie, how was the week for you? This was kind of a turbulent week.
Gosh, so much hard news.
Yeah.
It was difficult. I came into the week a little later than you did because we went on a family cruise to Alaska. Yeah.
So good to have you back.
Thank you.
And
good
it's
to
always
be back.
good to be, you know, in a difficult news week, it's just always good to be kind of by your side on the anchor desk.
Thank
to
you.
have you around. Of course I needed to. It's great to be teamed up with all of you. And we're actually going to be kicking off today's edition of Chicago Now. On kind of a serious note, we're going to be speaking in just a few moments with Ross Rice, who is one of our law enforcement contributors here on Fox 32, about the very latest in the arrest that was just announced within the last hour. The suspected killer of Charlie Kirk in custody. And now we just saw his mugshot. Also, Natalie, have you gotten on the whole ChatGPT?
You know, the only thing that I appreciate it for is I often Google things. I mean, who doesn't? And so, by the way, I'm pregnant. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm pregnant.
I'm so thrilled
Thank
for
you.
I mean, is this the first
No, this
public?
is the first thing.
Natalie, thank you for
debuting on Chicago Now.
Chicago Now.
But I bring that up because I Google so many pregnancy-related things, and so oftentimes when you Google something, it gives you like the AI version of the response. So it'll comb the internet for the answer to your question, and then it'll summarize it. And I've found that to be extremely helpful.
I've described it myself as Google on steroids, because you can, it feels like it harnesses specificity, because like sometimes these Google searches give you, you know, really general and all kinds of results. If you word the question correctly, you can get
an instant result, an instant answer.
Well, I didn't know you were going to disclose this to the masses. Is there anything else you want to kind of disclose about kind of your, you know, I don't know, you have a unique story, and it's super inspiring, and we're so thrilled for you.
Thank you.
And Ed and Olive, and just that you guys are going to be added to the fam.
Super excited.
Yeah,
I know. We'll talk about it another time. We got a lot going on here.
Okay. All right, Nat. We'll put a pin in that.
We'll put a pin, but to the point of the AI. So we're going to be talking to a psychotherapist about how some people are tapping into the AI chatbots for a personal relationship. I mean, for like a buddy of sorts, a friend.
A therapist
even.
So we're going to be speaking with a human therapist. They're actually calling this. This is such a serious like moniker for this condition, but they're calling it AI-induced psychosis. And so, gosh, with mental health just at the forefront of almost everything these days, it's going to be great. We're going to be joined by Ben Shabbat a little bit later in the program. And we're also going to be talking about a really cool honor for Robert's Pizza. Have you tried the pie over at Robert's yet?
I have not. I know that Jake has been there many a time, and that our Ghostbuster, Dan Aykroyd.
Oh.
Is it not Dan Aykroyd?
He's a Ghostbuster.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Sorry about that.
Huge fan of it.
Huge fan of Robert's Pizza. And I think he even brought it up in an interview with Jake, I believe, and says whenever he gets to Chicago, he tries to swing by there. They
are being honored on an international list of top pizza places in the world. So we're going to be speaking with Robert Garvey. This is Robert of Robert's.
Okay.
And he's going to be joining us, I understand, from Naples, Italy.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Maybe he can give us a little tour.
Hey, wouldn't that be cool?
That would be awesome.
All right. Before we get to all that, though, we do want to start with a very breaking news situation here on a Friday morning. Authorities in Utah just made an arrest of the suspected shooter in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk earlier this week. Ross Rice joining us now via Zoom. Ross, can you hear us okay, sir?
I sure can. Morning.
I am. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us this Friday morning. We appreciate it, sir. Your initial reaction to the timing and nature of this arrest?
I'm not surprised, quite frankly. As soon as the videos, the screen grabs from the videos, surveillance videos were released, I knew it was just a matter of time before this person was identified and taken into custody. Time-wise, you know, it's about what I expected. They had clear enough images, plus the videos of him walking. Most people wouldn't realize that, but there are unique characteristics that people have when they walk into their dress. So it's not surprising at all that this happened.
Ross, I have a lot of questions about this, and I'm hoping that the FBI eventually will will answer some of those questions. They were talking about it taking 3 days to get all of the evidence compiled right before the initial hearing, and then additional details will come out. But one of the people they questioned was a current or former roommate of the suspect, and he displayed a long list of messages that the suspect was using on some type of social media platform.
Discord is what it was called.
I had never heard of that. Maybe you can speak to that, Ross. But how he was planning to purchase the weapon, how he was going to get the weapon, how he had finally obtained the weapon. I mean, that raises a lot of questions. Was this roommate afraid to come forward with this information? Did he not get it until it was too late?
Well, that's a great question, Nellie. I'm not sure that I have the answer to that right now. They were able to identify this individual as a roommate. He did cooperate with authorities. He provided the information that was in part crucial to securing the arrest of Mr. Robinson. I don't think there's any indication right now that he aided and abetted this plot in any way. Based on the press conference that was had earlier this morning, there was no indication that Robinson was assisted by anyone else. This was a lone wolf type of attack. But that's why the investigation is continuing. A lot of people think that once an arrest is made, the case is solved, and that couldn't be further from the truth. That is really the starting point of the investigation. Agents, detectives are going to go from this point backwards, and they're going to look at all sorts of social media content. They're going to track down the source of the weapon, who purchased it, when. I think there are still ballistic examinations that need to be done to make sure that the rifle that was recovered is the rifle that shot and killed Mr. Kirk. So there's a lot of loose ends to tie up here.
And to that point as well, within that string of messages that the roommate revealed, he had indicated, as I said, that the suspect was retrieving this firearm. It appeared as if he had purchased it from somewhere and retrieving it in the woods. Could the person who sold the firearm to the alleged suspect be charged?
As long as Robinson met the state requirements to purchase a firearm, no. And again, we're assuming that this person was not involved in the planning of the attack, and there's no indication right now to think that that was the case. But if it was legitimate legal firearms purchase, then that person would have no criminal liability.
The governor of Utah made it clear, I believe it was yesterday or even the day before, that the authorities in that state would be pursuing the death penalty in this case. This is before they announced the suspect in custody or revealed his name. I'm wondering, Ross, with regard to the things that were stated during the news conference today, specifically the fact that there were messages on some of the casings there that were found on the roof, the fact that this was evidently very premeditated. They said that he had stashed the firearm in some bushes wrapped in a towel right near where the shooting took place. How do those factors play in when it comes to pursuing the death penalty in a case like this?
Well, that decision is ultimately made by the prosecutor, whether to go forward with seeking the death penalty. And there's a number of factors that come into play. The seriousness of the crime, violence, which obviously we have here. I don't know what the specific requirements are in Utah under their state laws, but it has to be an aggrieved situation, and premeditation is generally one of those requirements.
Could we see an expedited trial for this individual? You know, I think about here locally, Highland Park, and it took years after that incident to finally have that case go to trial. Do you think with the Trump administration, kind of a new sheriff in town, this might be expedited and we could see the case go to trial maybe later this year or early next year?
It's possible, Natalie, but that's an aggressive timeline.
Okay.
And we're looking at right now state charges, not federal charges. It is possible that Robinson could be charged federally as well with either a hate crime or with, if they want to consider this an act of domestic terrorism. But you're still going to have charges pending in Utah, and I don't think the governor is going to let Robinson go anytime soon to face those federal charges. So it's going to follow state law. And like it or not, he's a defendant in a criminal case. He has the same rights as any other defendant in a criminal case is going to have. He's going to be represented by counsel. I'm sure there's going to be a determination made about his mental competency, whether he's fit to stand trial. So I wouldn't expect a resolution to this anytime soon, unless Robinson decides to just waive his rights, plead guilty, and take his sentence. If he's a devout in his views and he considers himself a martyr, then that's possible. But other than that, it's going to be a while before this case is adjudicated.
Ross, do you have any thoughts on the future of similar events where there's big crowds, there's rooftops? You know, we saw everything that unfolded in Butler, Pennsylvania, involving President Trump, the assassination attempt there. This came from the roof. It was a bolt-action rifle is how it was described. Thousands of people around, cameras everywhere. I know that Charlie Kirk reportedly had his own security detail, but obviously it's not one of those operations where they can get to every rooftop. So what are your thoughts there in terms of security for events like this going forward?
Well, there's two distinct issues here that we have to look at. First of all, Charlie Kirk was not a public official. He was not the president. He's not entitled to Secret Service protection. So we saw what happened last year in Butler, Pennsylvania, when then candidate Trump was almost assassinated in almost identical way. And I think that has been a wake-up call to Secret Service protecting the president and people that are out in public doing public appearances. When you're outside in a venue like Charlie Kirk was yesterday, or like President Trump was, candidate Trump was last year, the security envelope expands exponentially, and it becomes that much more difficult to maintain firm control over it and prevent something like this from happening. Now, I don't know if Charlie Kirk and his security team were aware of any specific threats related to the event in Utah. I doubt that they were. Otherwise, they might have canceled the event. And that goes to another point that I think it's important to make. People that are bound and determined to carry out these attacks, whether it was the shooter in Pennsylvania or Robinson a couple days ago in Utah, they don't advertise what they're going to do in advance. They don't post on social media that they're coming to get someone. That's because they want their attack to be successful. It's the people that post on social media, that call the school, that call the city hall, that say, hey, there's a bomb. Those are the ones that almost never pan out. They're hoaxes. But that's the problem for law enforcement. It's the ones that you don't know about, the ones that you don't hear, that cause the problems. I think people are going to have to be more concerned about what they do in public and the security around public appearances, especially public officials.
Well, and as someone who might be attending one of those events, I mean, we're approaching a midterm election, and there are going to be rallies outdoors. And, you know, for our viewers who might be interested in maybe attending these events, what advice do you have for them?
Well, first of all, Natalie, and it's unfortunate that I have to say this, but in this day and age, there is no such thing as absolute security. Whether you're a private individual, a public official, there's always a risk associated with going outside. Now, the whole purpose of terrorism, whether it's domestic or international, is to change people's behavior. Once you change your behavior out of fear, terrorists have succeeded. So I would just encourage people to go about their normal activities, do what you would normally do. We've been saying this since 9/11, and it's still true today. If you see something suspicious, say something to authorities. Now, looking at the video of the shooting on Wednesday, yeah, there were thousands of people in the crowd. They were all focused on Charlie Kirk. They were all focused on the tent that he was speaking under. Nobody was looking at the surrounding buildings and the rooftops to see if there was a shooter up there. Yeah. And that's just normal human behavior. So I don't know, bottom line, what the correct answer to your question is. We just have to be more vigilant and more careful.
All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Ross Rice, always good to hear from you in situations like this when it's so difficult. We appreciate you breaking that down for us, sir.
Thanks, Ross.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
All right, we are going to take a quick break here on Chicago Now. Up next, though, we are going to be speaking more about mental health. It's, as Natalie and I mentioned off the top of the show, it's something that really feels like it plays a role in so many of our news stories that we tend to be covering, whether it's violence or just generalized anxiety disorder. And AI chatbots are now playing a role as well. A lot of people are turning to these bots when they would otherwise turn to a trusted companion or even a professional therapist. And there's a phrase floating around right now. It's called AI-induced psychosis. So we're going to dive into this topic coming up with a mental health professional when we come back here, and what we all need to be aware of when we come back here on Chicago Now. So stay with us.
This is not just innovation. This is smarter innovation. A tech revelation making kitchen life a flawless navigation.
Now.
Welcome back, 1018. Thank you for joining us here on Chicago Now. We got a really special guest in studio. And I'll preface our interview by just saying that as AI chatbots become a popular way to get what a lot of people refer to as cost-free counseling and companionship, a patchwork of state regulation is starting to emerge, restricting how this technology can be used in therapy practices and also determining whether it can replace human therapists, like our next guest, Ben Shabad. You may recognize him. We've had him in studio for a number of different reasons. We first got introduced to you because you won the Jeremy Allen White lookalike contest, yeah. But you've also got an incredible backstory of your own. And you are a psychologist. You work with a lot of young people too, right?
I'm actually a licensed counselor, but yeah, I also work with a lot of young people, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you for the clarification there. So what has been your reaction, before we get into kind of the patchwork state regulation that's going on, what have you observed just in your life and among your patients itself about the use of these AI chatbots when it comes to companionship and mental health?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks a lot for having me. Always a pleasure to be here. Love talking about this stuff. It's really important information. So what I'm seeing is there are a lot of people now turning to AI for mental health support. And I totally get why. You know, it's affordable, it's convenient, you can access it 24/7, and I think for a lot of people that don't have access to a therapist, it really lowers the bar for support, you know? So it provides a lot of good things. So, you know, you can access information quickly, you can learn some new tools, new strategies. The problem is that AI is not a human, you know, and so it can't provide empathy, right? It can't provide understanding, and it can't offer what I think a lot of people are really looking for, which is that human connection. So I kind of view AI as a really good supplement to mental health, but not a really good substitute for a therapist, if that makes sense.
So what would be maybe then a healthy way to leverage AI? I've heard folks talk about kind of the 80-20 rule as it applies to AI. Like, hey, you can, you know, and I'm not saying this applies to mental health, but hey, you use it to get, you know, 80% of the info or 80% of the answer, but you got to like put that 20%. Maybe I reversed it there. Then you got to put your own stamp on it before you actually move forward with like an actual response, an article, a story, whatever you're doing. Is there a healthy way to leverage these tools, or like, is it an on-ramp for anything good?
No, yeah, absolutely. There's a healthy way to use AI. Again, if you're looking to get some information quickly, to learn some new strategies, to get reminders, it's a great supplement to conversations that you might be having with a trusted person or a therapist. But you don't want to use it instead of therapy. And there's now coming out a lot of research showing why. And you know, what happens in a therapy session is the therapist is picking up, first off, on a lot of nonverbal cues, okay? So much of communication is nonverbal. So when I'm talking with a client, I'm listening to the tone of voice, I'm watching the body language, the gesture, the facial expressions, and so much is communicated through that. The other thing that's coming out, and they're giving these chatbots scenarios to respond to see how well they do, and it's very good at acknowledging the statements and being positive.
Yes.
But it's not good at giving any pushback. There's really no critical thinking is the problem, no critical feedback given to the client. So as a therapist, I can relate to what you're saying, I can understand it, I can empathize with it, and I can also say, I don't agree with how you're approaching this problem. Here are some of your blind spots, and you get both sides of it. The chatbots are not doing that, and it's a real problem. The other problem is they interpret what you put into them, what you communicate to them, very literally, okay? And so whatever you say explicitly, they interpret it literally. So a research study just came out, I think it was from Stanford, and the scenario they put in was something like, I just lost my job, I'm feeling really bad, where are the nearest high bridges? You know, that any person would recognize as a real call for help, a signal to intervene. The chatbot was very good at being positive and acknowledging the part about losing your job, but then they also provided all the bridges in the area and their heights.
How, as a mental health professional, how scary was that for you to hear a story like that? Because I know there's a lawsuit unfolding. There's I believe a family in one of the western states suing OpenAI because it assisted in their loved one's suicide.
Yeah, well, I think you said it in the opening. There is legislation coming down the pike right now to regulate how AI is utilized for mental health purposes. But to your question, it's really scary to hear something like that. Rule number one in my field is do no harm. And those situations are an example of how it actually can harm a client, and in the worst way possible, you know. But there's, even to a lesser extent, there are scenarios where a client goes in looking for human connection, looking for empathy and understanding from a person, and because they're just getting fact-based responses, information, they can actually leave that session with the chatbot, if you call it that, feeling more lonely and more isolated. And so, again, the whole goal of a therapist is to help the clients and improve their lives, and the chatbots, in some cases, are making it worse.
How do you see, you know, as we consider the fact that legislation may, as you phrased it, be coming down the pike to kind of regulate some of these uses.
Yeah.
How do you feel like those? Do you have any initial thoughts on how those pieces of legislation should work? Or is that kind of above your pay grade because you don't know how, you know, the data work?
Yeah, it's a great question. I really don't know too much about the details of it. I would definitely say that any chatbot or any AI system or company that is saying they can provide therapy in ways that a human therapist can, that needs to be regulated. Because what the data is showing right now is not only can they not, but the feedback that they provide can actually be dangerous for the clients.
Do you think that there's ever a could you ever conceive of a world where a chatbot or some kind of AI could serve as a replacement for that human connection, where we're actually either consciously or unconsciously fooled into believing that the empathy coming back from this machine could be authentic?
You know, I guess if it reached a level where it was so sophisticated that it actually tricked our brains into thinking we were talking with a person and fulfilling that need, then sure, I guess that would be the same. That would be essentially the same thing. But it's just not there now. There's too much nuance to conversation. There's too much in a conversation one-on-one with a person is unsaid communication.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and so the chatbots need to be able to make connections between what you're saying, make inferences based on what you're saying, and not just spit out a bunch of positive affirmations and fact-based information. It has to be more than that, and it's just not there yet.
Have you, by chance, seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
You know,
Did you ever see that one?
Is that where he had a relationship with his computer?
Yes.
I think I watched that a long time ago.
It was actually a spectacular movie, and it was very prophetic.
Yeah.
In that, like, here we are talking about folks using these things for actual companionship. For those people who haven't seen it, Joaquin Phoenix's character gets, I mean, so attached to the chatbot or the AI that he's been interacting with in this hypothetical future world. The chatbot is voiced by Scarlett Johansson, that when she goes offline, he literally has a panic attack. I don't know if you remember that scene. He has a panic attack.
Yeah.
Are you seeing anything resembling that, or do you see the seedlings for a situation like that at all in your clinical practice?
So I haven't seen anything to that extent. I definitely see that people are becoming more reliant, though, on AI, not just in my field, but across the board, obviously, but people are quick to ask it questions and you know, seek advice from AI, especially between sessions. You know, I have clients where I'll meet with them one day and then, you know, I'm only seeing them once, maybe twice a week, and then by our next session, they've looked up a couple things that we've talked about and said, this is what AI said, what do you think about this? This is an intervention or a strategy. And so I know they're consulting with AI, but I haven't seen a situation where they've become so attached that they had an emotional meltdown or anything like that. Although I was just reading an article where maybe again out of California that was saying that AI psychosis is being induced somehow by people using AI too much, and I don't know all the details about that, but basically people who were on AI all the time, maybe for mental health reasons, maybe for others, were having some hallucinations and delusions, and that's a scary situation.
It really, in some ways, it feels like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Right now, with these like suicide cases and everything like that. You work with a lot of young people, right?
I work with young people. I work with people across the age spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want to zero in on perhaps a message for parents, because these, you know, I've got a 9-year-old, I've got a 4-year-old. They're going to be growing up in a world where AI, you know, when I was in college is when cell phones became ubiquitous.
Sure.
So I'm kind of on that. I was born in '78, so I'm kind of on that analog digital. You know, I kind of had both in a way. My kids, they're young enough where they like really won't know a world without AI.
Right.
What message would you say to parents? Because, you know, this is ChatGPT. You just go chatgpt.com. You're off to the races, essentially.
To be honest, I have some of the same concerns. What would my message be to parents? I would just say make sure you're monitoring how your kids are using AI. Don't rely on it entirely. A lot of the time it's giving false information or it's giving bad information, and it's our instinct, I think, to use it as a person and believe what it's saying, because it comes up with the information so quickly and it cites its sources, and it just seems...
And it's conversational.
It's conversational,
yeah.
and it's even getting better at that. And it just seems like it's so reliable, so trustworthy, and in so many cases it's not. And so in some cases it can lead you astray and it can take you in the wrong direction. So just be mindful of that if your kids are using AI. And I don't know what the future will hold with changes to AI and regulations and things of that nature, but right now that would be my concern.
Proceed with caution.
Proceed with caution.
Ben Shabbat, great to have you in studio once
Anthony,
again, sir.
thanks
really
so much.
Appreciate it, providing insight on this topic. As a parent, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, so thanks for being here. All right, it's 10:30. We'll be back with more Chicago Now right after this.
It's Bears. What a day for football. It's game day.
No better way to start out the season than right here at the Walton.
Bears game day live Sunday at 9:30. The Bears and Ben Johnson return to Detroit for an NFC North showdown. Bears, Lions, Sunday at noon on Fox 32 Chicago.
It doesn't matter to us whether it's a big case or a small case. We know for our clients, it is their only case. That's how we treat every case here at Postman Law.
If you've been injured in an accident, don't wait. Call us or visit our website today.
Wouldn't it be great if our kids knew how to use money?
Bye, Mom.
Like, you gotta settle your debts before you settle on a new hoodie. Good call. Let's get more from money. Huntington Bank.
First Marshall Auto Auction, the largest public auto auction in the Midwest. A huge selection of vehicles that must be auctioned now. Come and compare our prices. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and more. Why would you want to pay more? You must see this to believe it. First Marshall Auto Auction, 398 East 147th Street in Harvey. Just minutes from Chicago. Call 708-333-2266. 708-333-2266. www.708-333-2266.com.
Attention Chicago area churchgoers. If you or a loved one suffered abuse by a priest or member of the clergy, call our confidential clergy abuse attorney hotline at 773-900-5580. Billions of dollars have already been paid out by the church to clergy abuse victims. Act now to get your sexual abuse claim timely filed. You may be entitled to significant compensation for the abuses you suffered. Call 773-900-5580 now.
This right here is for bragging rights. It's the HBCU New York Classic, Morehouse versus Howard. Saturday at noon on Fox Chicago Plus.
So did you get this email? I did the other day, and it says that I'm going to get a payment from Facebook. And I think it's legit because apparently there was a privacy settlement and some users are going to get some checks. So what does this mean? This is Facebook's massive privacy settlement. What does it mean for future cases with big tech? So joining us now on Zoom is attorney Benjamin Swetland. Benjamin, thank you so much, sir, for being here. All right, so for people like me who got this email, are we going to be like able to quit our jobs tomorrow and cash a big check, or how's this going to work?
Maybe if you have a lot of other savings, you're probably only going to be getting maybe $30, $40 out of this particular lawsuit. So maybe if you have some other money squirreled away, I don't know.
30 or 40 bucks. Okay, so tell us why Natalie, I might need to check my spam folder to see if anything came through. Why Natalie's an Illinois resident. I know that there has been a few of these cases where folks, I think specifically in Illinois, have gotten checks in situations like this when folks in other states haven't. Is that at play here?
Well, this is going to be a nationwide settlement. It involves claimants from around the country. If you remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal, Facebook for years was not being particularly honest about what information it shared with third parties, even when you set your privacy settings to not share information with third parties. So it's not specific to Illinois, it's a nationwide settlement.
Who qualifies for this?
So anybody who had a Facebook account from, if I recall correctly, May of 2007, all the way up to the end of 2022 is eligible to be part of the case.
And how much is this costing Facebook? Is it a drop in the bucket for them, or is this actually significant cash that could make a difference?
Well, it's all relative, right? It's a $725 million settlement, which is a lot of money to you and me. I don't know how much, whether Facebook and Meta feel that same way, but it's a very substantial settlement.
You wonder, though, by using that information and giving it to third parties, how much additional money they were in profit they were able to make by selling it to advertisers. So it might just be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
How are people anticipated to see this money? Like, is this going to come through Venmo? Is it going to be a check in the mail?
That depends. Everybody who is a part of the settlement had to have made a claim as early as back in 2023. And when you made your claim, you chose if you were going to get a paper check, Venmo, Zelle, etc. You'll get an email usually about 3 to 4 days before that payment comes through. So just keep your eyes peeled for that email, and it'll give you the information so you'll know when the money's coming in.
Does this judgment here set a precedent for future cases against other social media companies?
So strictly speaking, a settlement is not the kind of thing you can cite in court as a legal precedent. But practically speaking, yeah, absolutely. These kinds of large dollar settlements put lawyers, judges, and just the general public on notice that any kind of sustained privacy violation, if a company says it's going to do one thing but winds up doing another, that's going to generate sometimes very large settlements and judgments.
What I found interesting about this one is I've gotten a few emails in the past from companies, and they say that I'm part of this class action lawsuit, but if I want to get a settlement, I have to provide proof of damages. So I have to show that I had to pay for something. I don't know. I hope I'm explaining it well enough. And I have to provide proof of that. But for this particular one, I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, sure. Well, every settlement is different because every case is different. In this situation, everybody knows that if you had a Facebook account, you were subject to this, what they call friend sharing, where you might set your privacy settings for your account not to share your information. But if your friend didn't, and you sent them a message, shared a picture with them, or what have you, the data wound up getting shared. So the lawyers and Facebook, everybody agrees that that was happening. There was no need to prove that it had occurred.
Could there be any conceivable downside in accepting the payment here in this case?
Well, sure, in theory, if you want to hire your own lawyer, as in any class action, you can do what we call opt-out. And there will always be an option on the claim form or the notice that you get. You can say, hey, I'm going to hire my own lawyer and I'm going to make my own case out of this. Most people don't do that because these are small dollar claims, and financially it just doesn't make any sense to hire your own lawyer to get a couple $100.
Do you find that we're going to see more of these cases in the future, Benjamin, or do you feel like we're almost tapped out? Like at this point, social media companies have learned the laws of the land.
You know, that's a great question because I think about it a lot. For sure, the large corporations now have seen enough of these suits that they have, as you say, cleaned up their act and they know the lay of the land. But now we live in a day and age where every company has an ad. From your laundry, the cleaners down the street, the pizza company where you order pizza, what have you. We're going to continue to see these kinds of cases, not as big, simply because it'll be smaller businesses, but they're going to continue to happen because I'm sure people will continue to fail to keep their privacy promises.
With regard to privacy, do you have any general advice for our viewers this morning about how to frame the issue of privacy in our minds as we continue to interact more and more, not just with these social media apps, but also with things like generative AI?
Well, that's one of the big questions for the next 100 years in our country and the world. I would say, remember, there's the old saying that if the product is free, that means you are the product.
Oh, yeah.
The complaint says that Facebook, it's not really a social media company, it's a data company and a surveillance company. They make money by finding out who you are, where you shop, where you live, how you like to spend your money, and then making that data available to any advertiser in the world who will pay a lot of money to get that information back.
So you're saying the people that have chosen to stay off social media are probably
They're the
smart
wise ones
among the group.
Yeah, well, I try to take that advice for myself, for sure. I'm not always so successful, but yeah. The problem, though, is, as we saw in this lawsuit, some of it's inescapable, because you can set your privacy settings perfectly, and they will still create shadow accounts for you, and it's at a certain level pretty difficult to escape completely.
All right, Benjamin, thank you very much for bringing your expertise to the program this morning. We appreciate your time. We will proceed with caution, and Natalie has promised to bring in a couple dozen donuts for everybody with her settlement.
I'm going to make it rain here on Fox 32. Thanks, Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin. When we do segments like the last couple that we've done with generative AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and this settlement, it just makes me realize how, I suppose, rogue I have been with, you know, if there's a new outlet, I'll just post pictures and, hey, here's my kid's first day of school. Now I know not to share certain details, you know, the name of the school, you know, all that stuff and the age. But, I mean, gosh, when you think about all the fine print and accept terms and conditions, boom, you know.
But speaking of rogue, I mean, with AI, you're going to have these companies come in and take that information and, you know, you could, I saw you at this place and you weren't supposed to be there, and it's like, wait, that wasn't me. Well, I have a voice recording of you. I mean, it's like inescapable, I feel like.
It really is.
It's very scary.
Just wild territory. Everyone should proceed with caution, right? All right, Nat, we got a fun segment coming up. We don't have to be so serious about this.
In the studio.
We're talking about Roberts.
Yes.
This is really, there's been so much buzz about this place. And I'm so excited to talk about it. 26th on this international list. So hopefully, I mean, that's going to mean even more buzz. They're right around the corner here. Robert's Pizza and Dough Company. We're going to be speaking with Robert himself, not just about what this award and this recognition means, but we're going to get a little more information about the pie.
Yes.
I'm curious.
And he's from Naples, Italy. So if you don't care about pizza, at least tune in for the aesthetics of the interview.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I wish folks could smell how good this pizza. They just opened the box, so it just wafted. We got a sausage pizza here. from Robert's Pizza and Dough Company, which is right here in Streeterville. It's right on the river. It's right on, well, it's the slip, right?
I have not been,
slip?
so
Okay.
I don't know, but I need to go. And I've heard it's just the ambiance is really nice there. You can kind of sit out by the river and like drink a beer and have some pizza.
And some really exciting news for this place. It has just been named 26th best pizza in the world. And Robert's was the only Chicago pizzeria to be included in the top 100 list for 2025.
That's amazing.
And this comes from 50 Top Pizza. I think that's the entity here that we're talking about, which gave out their 2025 awards Monday night in Naples, Italy. And we are lucky enough to have not only a Robert's Pie with us here, but Robert himself, Mr. Robert Garvey, joining us from Naples, Italy. Is that true? You are actually joining us via Zoom from Naples right now, sir?
We can't hear you.
Audio turned on.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so you're joining us from Naples, and this is the best view we get is of a white hotel room wall. Thanks a lot, Robert.
Sorry. Well, there's a couple of sailing ships behind me.
Oh, there we go. Some sailing ships.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so run us through. Well, how are you feeling? I know you've had a couple of days to process this news. What are the emotions, sir? This is a big honor.
You know, we are feeling great. I'm just so proud of what we've been able to do, and to be honored by, you know, an organization like 50 Top Italy really is incredible. And I'm just so proud of the team and all the work that everybody does. It's really incredible. It's such a great honor. We are extraordinarily happy.
So tell us why you think, and I'm sure, you know, your opinion might be different than people who have tried the pizza because you're the founder of the place, but tell us why you think your pizza stands out among others in the Chicagoland area.
Well, you know, I love our pizza. We do a terrific artisan thin crust style pie. We do a 2 to 3 day ferment. I have a 25-year-old wild yeast sourdough starter. The pizza really, as you can see there, is really beautiful to both look at and eat. But at the end of the day, you know, it's our team. Our team makes such an incredible effort to make coming to Robert's a true neighborhood dining experience.
What style of pizza is this? I know we've got, you know, tavern style. We've got, you know, deep dish. Is this a authentic Napolese style?
No, it's not. We call it an artisan style pizza. I think it's kind of a hybrid between a New York style and a Neapolitan pie. And I've kind of put the best of those pizzas together, in my mind anyway, to create what we serve at Robert's.
So you guys were 26th out of 50. Who was number one?
Number one was Una Pizza in New York, and also Massanelli in Naples, Italy. It was two restaurants.
Two co-champions?
Yeah, it's two co-champions. That's
Will
correct.
you tell us about the ceremony itself? I understand this happened Monday night. Is it one of those things where you got the call, hey, you're flying out here, you've been nominated for one of these awards? Take us through the whole, all the festivities.
So this organization ranks pizzas around the world. So back in early July, they ranked the pizzas in the U.S. And we came in at number 6 of the U.S. rankings. Oh. And then the top 12 pizzas of the U.S. ranking then get put into the top 100 pizzas. And so we were notified then that we're in the top 100 and invited to Naples to come see the ceremony. The ceremony is on an opera stage in downtown Naples.
Oh, wow.
It's sort of like the Academy Awards.
This is awesome. I want an invite. This is like better than the Academy Awards.
How great would that be?
Good. And you get to eat some great pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. How fun is this? So if people have not been yet, tell us about some of the other artisanal pizzas on the menu. Because our colleague Anita Blanton says she went and she talked her significant other into trying a Brussels sprout pizza, and he loved it.
But we do a Brussels sprout and bacon pizza, which is incredible. Even people that don't like Brussels sprouts love that pizza. We do a great fennel pizza with a pickled pickled fennel, braised fennel salumi. We finish it with honey. It's just really incredible. But you know, we're not pizza snobs. We love a great margarita pizza that we do with our buffalo mozzarella and a slow roasted tomato. We do a terrific pepperoni pizza that you have there on air. Our sausages, we get our pork from a local farm, Slagle Farm. We make our own sausage. We use and the mozzarella on all of, we use fresh mozzarella on every pie that we serve, and you know, we get our burrata from a local Italian cheesemaker. Everything we do has been really specifically spec'd out to do the best that we can possibly do at Robert's.
Love it. And clarification, this is actually a sausage pie that we have here in Studio 32, and it's good to know that that sausage is made in-house.
Yes.
How awesome is that? Robert, let me ask you this. What were some of the other pizza? You mentioned that you got to try some amazing pizza while at the awards. Did anything kind of stand out to you? What were some of the other winning pizzas like? And do you have any takeaways from sampling them?
You know, there's just I mean, Pizza Naples is really just incredible. And I love being here and enjoying their incredible margarita pizzas. And we went to a pizzeria called Lombardi's. We went to another one, Da Michele's, which is quite the scene. But just a classic, you know, tomato, fresh buffalo mozzarella, fresh basil, on a terrific, you know, terrific dough. It's just such a great experience here. So.
And you haven't gained 500 pounds, which is really I mean, I haven't put you on a scale, so I don't really know. So tell me more, Robert, about this sourdough starter. My mom and I were talking about this.
25 years old, he said.
Pretty, I mean, people were like, I thought I saw somebody was using something like 100-year-old sourdough starter to make something. Explain that to us.
True. You can, once you create a starter, as long as you continue to feed it, it will outlast all of us.
Wow.
25 years ago, so my starter is from Chicago. It's from the Chicago air. I was able to capture the wild yeast from the Chicago air. You just use flour and water. Takes about 6 weeks. But once it comes together and it creates the starter, all you have to do is feed it every day. And there's the rub. It has to be fed with flour and water every day, which doesn't seem like much, but when you do it for 20 years, like the starter in our restaurant used to live on my kitchen counter for 20 years in a 32-ounce container, and I fed it every day. So it was a labor of love, and now it's the base of the pizza. And it really, what the starter does is it just takes the love, makes the dough a lot more artisan, a lot tastier, gives it a terrific bread flavor.
Huh.
Really cool stuff. Now, Robert, you've gotten so much recognition. I mean, anecdotally speaking, I feel like I've heard more about Robert's Pizza and Dough Company over the last year than I have about any other local pizzeria. Okay, what could be on the horizon for you guys? I know you got a location. It's right on the. Is it called the Ogden Slip?
Yes, we were on the Ogden Slip at Illinois and McClurg. We have a beautiful spot on the water.
Oh, it's great. It's right on the water and pedestrian friendly. They have a gorgeous patio seating area right on the water there. What could be next for you guys?
You know, that's a good question. We're kind of at an inflection point. We've gotten to, you know, we opened up just before the pandemic. So the first 2 or 3 years we struggled and struggled. And the last 3 years we've really just gotten very busy. So we've, you know, learned how to deal with being a very busy restaurant and still keeping it a neighborhood spot. So we're kind of in a position where we haven't made any decisions. We like what we're doing. We like the environment we're in, and we're just kind of really working on just honing the restaurant and making it the best experience that we can provide.
We love hearing that.
Maybe a wait and see kind of thing.
I have to ask, you talked about some of the pizzerias that you went to in Italy. Maybe this is sacrilegious to ask, but do you have, outside of Robert's, a favorite pizza spot in Chicago?
Ooh, yeah.
You know, Jonathan Goldsmith got a Career Achievement Award from Spaccanapoli.
Oh, yeah.
I love Spaccanapoli, coal-fired, Paulie G's. some of my favorite pizzas in Chicago. So.
And this is kind of, you said if New York style and that Napolese style at Spaccanopoli were to have a love child, it would resemble your product.
It's our pizza.
Spaccanopoli is a great place too. Great ambiance there. Robert, really when are you coming back stateside, sir? How long are you going to be over there?
No, we're heading up north this weekend. I have family up north, but we're really going up there to discover some new wines for the restaurant.
Oh, very nice.
I love that.
So we'll be up on the vineyards tasting some wines and just having a great time, and hope to bring some of that back to Chicago with us.
Indeed. Okay, well, we all benefit from your trip to Italy because I know you're going to bring back good stuff. Robert Garvey, thank you so much, and congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
Robert.
it.
Safe travels, sir. Safe travels. All right, it's 5 till 11. We're back to wrap up the show in just a moment. Stay with us.
Guys, Chicago's largest country bar, Stolen Saddle, is turning into a Swiftie wonderland. Anthony, I know you'll want to mark your calendar for this.
No, I will.
On October 3rd, a special tribute night to celebrate the release of Taylor Swift's latest album. They're going to have a DJ playing it all the way through. They're going to have a prize wheel for fans dressed
Have you been
as
to
Taylor.
Stolen Saddle?
I have not.
I have not either.
I got to check this place out. Because Bub City, I thought that was a country bar, right?
I believe so.
Is it not?
I believe so.
Okay, and now I guess Stolen Saddle is the largest one. What ladies might be interested in, though, is the Travis Kelce lookalike contest that's going to be happening.
There have been a few of these recently. We actually, coincidentally, just had, for a completely unrelated reason, Ben Shabbat in studio.
Yes.
He's a licensed clinical therapist, and he's full of amazing knowledge about the mental health world, but he first came to prominence and to our attention because he won the Jeremy Allen White lookalike contest.
Spot on, I would say.
Very, very similar. And then hasn't there been another one, too, of late that got a lot of buzz?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Well, there's Jeremy Allen White and then another one, and then
okay,
now there's the Travis Kelce
I wasn't
one.
here for that.
Who was it? That's it. Thank you for
Timothy
bailing
Chalamet.
me out on that, Delaney. Timothy Chalamet. Yes, I saw a Timothy Chalamet lookalike the other day. He had the same exact hair. I was like, wait, I did a double take.
Wow. So anyway, you can enjoy. Okay, so again, this is happening on October 3rd, and the winner takes home of the Travis Kelce lookalike contest $50 and a bucket of beer.
Hey.
And maybe a girlfriend as well.
Maybe a GF. All right, Nat, we get to sign off now, but are you gonna do the honorary cheese pull here? It looks
the cheese pull.
Spectacular here. Robert's Pizza and Dough Company named 26th best pizza pie in the entire world. And on that note, we wish you a great weekend and a great rest of your Friday, everybody. Tia is up next with more Chicago Now.
It's Fox.
Okay, let's first start off with a round of applause. Can I get a round of applause from our studio audience? Yeah! It's worth the celebration. It is Friday. We have arrived here. We've had a lot of really grim and heartfelt news over the last couple of days. And this is a time where we're going to kind of like slow things down, have a little fun, loosen up as we prepare for the weekend. I think we all really need it after looking at what's been happening across the country. Okay, so first up, who we're going to have on the show coming up, we're going to talk to Zach Miller. That name may sound familiar to you because he was a tight end, played for the Chicago Bears, and now he's in the country music world. I'm really looking forward to this interview. I love his song, All Gas, No Brakes, so I'm sure we'll talk about that. And then we're going to have Kinsey and Roman in the building. Let me hear some noise for that. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you. Our audience is delayed. They got a lot of stuff going on in the background. They're going to talk about the McHenry County Music Fest there. Actually, they just call it the McHenry Music Fest, but I just think of McHenry County right away. And then first, we got to talk about the Chicago Bears. Everyone is hoping that they pull out a win over in Detroit. We know that is where Ben Johnson spent some time, obviously. And apparently there's going to be a boo fest. And joining us now is our digital sports reporter, Chris Kay, to break this all down. Chris, who's doing all this booing?
You know, at first it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, is a former Ben Johnson protege in Detroit that he helped coach up a little bit. When Ben Johnson started as the passing game coordinator, worked his way up from quality control to the offensive coordinator. He's the star receiver in Detroit. And he said this on his podcast. He has a very prominent podcast in the NFL world with his brother, Equanimous St. Brown, former Chicago Bear, who they were talking about it like, hey, what's going to happen? He's like, we're going to boo him. No, we're going to boo him. And I think I don't know if it's one of those things in jest. I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, well, let's see what happens. But Amon-Ra is a pretty funny guy, and I think he's looking forward to the chance to get the chance to beat Ben Johnson's team on Sunday.
You know, obviously Detroit fans, they are really diehard before they started, you know, having some good seasons, because we have to admit that they have had some good seasons over the years. I used to live out in Michigan. People were fans when they were not winning. What do you think the fan reception will be like in terms of the fans in the stadium when it comes to the Bears?
I think in terms of Ben Johnson, I think he's going to get a very favorable reception. I think he's going to get a little bit of the love that he showed Detroit. He was asked this on Wednesday in his opening press conference of the week. He was like, hey, how do you view the tough decision that you made? And he's like, well, it was tough for me. It was tough for me to leave something that I built in Detroit. It was tough to leave something that loved me as much as I loved it. He was really paraphrasing, or I'm paraphrasing a lot of those words, but he was talking a lot about how difficult it was, and I think the fans are going to recognize that. I think the fans are going to give him the love he deserves, because there's no Detroit Lions of the 2024-2023 timeframe where they're winning the NFC North Division without Ben Johnson.
Both of the teams are coming off of that Week 1 loss. Obviously, as a Bears fan myself, I want us to win this. Who really needs this win more? Just looking at, you know, probability here, statistical numbers.
Ah, goodness, it's a tough question, because you don't want to lose.
Yes, you don't.
I think if you're the Detroit Lions, I think the pressure's on a little bit more, because you came into this season as the reigning division champs. You came into this season with so much expectations on your shoulders of, hey, we could be the team that runs the NFC North for the next handful of years. And I think so far it's been difficult to look at that Week 1 game against the Packers and say, hey, this is the team that's sitting atop the North, because right now it is the Packers, unfortunately. Sorry for all the Bears fans that don't want to hear that, but they made the right moves. They made the right personnel changes to put them in a position to dominate right away. And I kind of similar to what the Bears did in 2018 with Khalil Mack, with Micah Parsons coming into the division. That's not fun. Can't imagine it's fun blocking Micah Parsons. I can't imagine it's fun also guarding a lot of the players that they have, trying to tackle Josh Jacobs. But I think right now the Lions need a win. They need to get back on track, especially within the division. I think the Bears are an opportunity to do that. But also, conversely, if you're the Bears, this is Ben Johnson's old team. If you're a Bears player, I'm sure you want to be like, hey, let's get one for our guy. Let's get one for our guy against his old team. Let's show him that, hey, we can move past whatever last year was into what we have now.
Looking at the numbers, especially when you're talking about historically, the historic outlook of all of this, the Lions have dominated the Bears in the past. What do you think needs to change up, you know, for this game coming up to change that? In terms of our running game, our passing game, what do you think needs to change?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, you have to start with the mistakes that come on, that have just come on hand. And when I was in the locker room yesterday talking to some of the players, I was asking specifically, like, hey, like, how do you get the run game going? Because that was a point of emphasis on Wednesday when Ben Johnson talked about it, saying, I need to call more runs. But I think in the locker room, we were talking to some players, they said, hey, like, we just got to cut down the penalties, you know, false starts, holding, the things that draw us backwards. And if you watch the game, I know there are some of those penalties are kind of like, that's kind of a ticky-tack foul. I don't know if that would be a hold on every Sunday, but I think in this specific instance, the false starts, the things that happen before the snap, taking timeouts to prevent the delay game, those are the kinds of things that Bears want to cut down. And I think the first quarter, I think we saw a lot of that, but that's because you script the first 15 or so plays, and you saw a lot of that come to success right away. And that's really impressive. That's also something that we didn't see a lot of last year, but we also saw a lot of false starts, holding, a lot of those penalties that racked up along the offensive line. But I think if you talk to the players and you go all the way down, they say, we got to be better, we got to be cleaner. I think it starts with being clean. And I think we'll see a little bit of that reflected in the game plan on Sunday.
You know, you bring up a good point about the false starts. I was watching the game, and I'm like, this is like amateur stuff. This is stuff that you get a penalty for, you know, when you're a little earlier, I would say, in your career instead of like NFL level, because it was so many of them that it was really hard to watch. So that's a really good point. Let's talk about this. St. Brown obviously has a huge influence in Detroit. We were talking about his comments about the booing. Do you think the fans will kind of get on board with this? And this will be like a stadium-wide thing that we may hear coming from the stadium?
Yeah, I think it might be one of those things where we might get a mixed bag. I think we'll get a little bit of like, hey, like you have to give the guys props because this is a dude that if you know his story, his background, this is a guy that was out of football in like the 2019 timeframe, then found his way back to a quality control job, which is quite literally the grunt work of football. It is one of the low man jobs where you have to kind of do whatever you can to prove that you have a future in the business. And Ben Johnson did that in Detroit. He did this in that franchise when back then, I mean, really, the Detroit Lions weren't anything worth writing about or even worth thinking about. But I think a big part of the rise was Ben Johnson. I think we'll see some of the props be given properly to Ben Johnson for that. But I also think the fans are going to have a little bit of fun with him, especially in the third quarter, maybe the fourth quarter. Depending on how the game goes, obviously, if the Bears are up in the fourth quarter, I think they might have some choice words for Ben Johnson. So I think it'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to think about, and we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be a good game. I think much better game than we've seen in the past, especially when you go back to the December game with the Bears and Lions, where the Lions were clearly the better team and kind of ran all over the Bears.
You know, it's interesting. The Detroit Lions fans can be really brutal. But, you know, Detroit so close to Chicago, I'm expecting to see a lot of Bears fans in that stadium as well because we do travel very well. If you had to give a prediction on the game, I know a lot of people don't like to do it, but I like putting people on the spot. If you had to give a prediction of the final score, what would you say here?
Goodness. It's tough because and I appreciate you putting me on the spot. Thank you for that. But I think it's tough because we really don't know how these teams are going to respond after week one because both had disappointing week ones where the Bears being up 11 on the Vikings and the Lions that just kind of were never really in the game against the Packers. And I think Ben said it perfectly on Wednesday too. Like, this is going to be a much improved team in week two compared to week one. And I think they're going to start getting their feet wet. And with both teams, first year with new coordinators, there's a lot going on that they have to figure out. But I think right now the experience might be the thing that wins out. I think it'll be a lower scoring game because the offense still is a little bit behind the defense in both regards in both teams. But I think it's tough. I think the Lions are probably going to win this one, like a 20-17 type of game.
Oh,
It'll
Chris.
be close. I hate to break your heart, Tia. I really do.
The dagger in the chest. I only say that because, no, go ahead. Finish your statement, and then I want to bring up something. Go ahead.
Oh, no, but I think this Bears offense needs just another week or two to really get its feet under it, and then we're going to start to see some of the improvements and a lot of encouraging things.
Okay, so since you said that, which is very hard to hear as a fan, you know, we watched Caleb Williams really started out really great. We got to admit that. It was pretty impressive. And in fact, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I turned off the TV because I was like, okay, we got this in the bag. I'm done. I'm going to bed. And then I was on Twitter and I saw, oh, it's not looking too good. So I went back to watch the TV. And I was really, really heartbroken and disappointed. And then all the fans said what we always hear is, you know, don't put too much faith in the Bears, right? We hear that continuously. Caleb Williams in particular started out really great. It didn't keep going that way. What do you think he has to do in this particular game to really prove himself, to really keep his job? I mean, at some point, if it doesn't improve, it is the potential that his job is on the line.
Yeah, I'd like to come out right now and like say this just definitively, no matter what happens, unless we start seeing him be the reason the Bears lose games, that his job is going to be in question. I don't think there's anything that happens this season that puts Caleb Williams' job in question, and I think that's important to know because this is a guy that, you mentioned it, the first drive that he had was 6 for 6, 51 yards passing with a rushing touchdown. He was literally perfect. And then you come out the rest of the game and you start to see some of the accuracy issues here and there. Those are the things that I was mentioning earlier about this offense, where they need a couple weeks, maybe another week or two, to really get their feet wet, to understand how things move properly, how to get into that rhythm, because they were just disjointed. They were out of a rhythm. They weren't looking like the offense that we saw that Ben Johnson was running in training camp. When things really started clicking, there was a couple practices where like, hey, like this could be something, especially if they get into a rhythm, they get into what they want to be. But I think right now, he's not going to lose his job. I think he's doing just fine. The way that people were talking about this game, you think he threw 5 interceptions and lost the game 40-10. He was in the game. It's all about finding the rhythm. It's about establishing the run game, playing that complementary football. I think no matter what, Caleb's in a good position. He looked fine to me. I thought he was good on Monday. I think there's a lot of other things on that offense that could help him out a little bit more. But right now, I mean, give it about 2 more weeks to you. I'm telling you,
it's hard to be patient as a Bears fan. It is. It's hard to be patient because you want to see the team win, and then every season you go into an optimist. It's kind of like what the Cleveland Browns have been going through for quite some time. I lived there too, watched that play out, and it's like every year you want to be optimistic for the hometown team, and then the ball literally drops.
I think there's a lot more to be optimistic about with this Bears team and what they have on this roster right now, from the top down, from what we saw on Monday night to what could be in the future. I choose to stay optimistic, and that's not just because I'm a Chicagoland guy. Just from what I've seen in training camp, I think we're going to see a lot of great things, especially out of Caleb Williams. I think he's going to set some Bears records. The Bears have not had a quarterback as talented as him, period, point blank. They've had better quarterbacks probably, but this guy is one of the most talented quarterbacks the Bears have ever had. I think that's going to start to reflect in the stat sheet and also in the record books as the weeks start to go on, and he starts to get to more comfortable in this offense. He starts to build that rhythm, because when he's on rhythm, Tia, I tell you, it's like
you're making me feel good. Keep talking. I'm feeling real good. As you keep talking, you're making me feel better. Let me ask you this. What do you make, really, this may be my final question, but what do you make of that short turnaround? Because it was a really short turnaround for the team to have to bounce back.
It's tough. That's one of the things about the NFL, which is so difficult, especially when you compare it to all the others. The types of football. Obviously, high school football plays on Friday nights, and they maybe sometimes play on Saturday mornings. And I think that's not that different of a time frame. College football only usually plays on Friday nights, Sunday nights, the first week of the season. Then it's very strictly restricted to Saturday. The NFL is different. The NFL, you're supposed to expect to be professional and be ready and be prepared, especially for those Monday games, for those Thursday games, what comes after that. It would be a lot better if you had a Monday night game going into a bye week, or a Thursday game coming out of a bye week. But I think those are the kinds of things that you have to prepare for as a player. I think the Bears are beaten just fine. They really didn't have that many injuries coming out of that Monday Night Football game, which is a big thing. But I think right now the biggest thing we're going to keep watching is what's Kyler Gordon's status and what's TJ Edwards' status coming off of injuries that were before the Monday Night Football game. So I think going forward, it's a shorter week, but the players know how to handle it. That's just what they're paid to do, and they do it real well.
And I want to make sure I heard this correctly, because with all this optimism, you still think the Bears will lose? I'm just double checking. You still think the Bears will be the losers? Is that right?
Well, I'm just saying, any given Sunday, that is the reason they say that, is because no matter what happens in football, it could be your day. Caleb Williams could throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We don't know.
We'll see.
We're about to find out.
We'll see. Yeah, and the game, just so people know, is happening Sunday right on Fox 32 Chicago. Tip-off is at noon, so make sure you tune in. Chris, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, Tia. Pleasure. It's always to talk to you. I appreciate it.
It really is. All right. I appreciate you. Okay. So I've noticed since I've been sitting here talking to Chris, women have started to pour into the studio from every direction that work here at Fox 32. And I think that's because I'm going to be talking to Zach Miller. We're going to have that interview coming up right after this break. Welcome back to Chicago Now. We're about to talk to Zach Miller, but first I had to get some reinforcement here. Kenzie and Roman is joining me on the show. Thank you so much for being with us. Yet again, I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
You still look great.
You do too.
And they brought us in like you're the quarterback. We're like your linemen for this interview.
I need it.
Especially for country. Yes. Listen, we have a country interview.
Yes, this is going to be fun.
She needs backup.
I need a little backup. Okay, so Zach Miller, you are with us. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Can you hear us? Oh, there he is. Okay. I was not ready for that shot.
Terrible, guys. I'm so sorry that I'm not there. I know this was supposed to be in studio, but listen, I found out that live music never goes off on time, and that kind of ruined my morning. So apologies in advance.
I'm happy that you're not here because there's a lot of fans in the building.
I think security-wise, it's better you're not here because then that way we don't have to get security to get the girls off of you. You know, I think it's better that you're kind of at a remote location.
I agree.
Maybe your wife sabotaged it. She's like, you don't need to be there with all these women.
He's somewhere setting up merch here, so.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, well, listen, man, you know, a lot of people know you in Chicago in particular from being one of our star Chicago Bears, tight end, number 86. I know as a kid growing up, football was always your dream. Explain how that was for you living your dream for multiple seasons, especially here in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I had always wanted to do as a young kid. I remember as young as probably 5, 6 years old as you can go back and remember playing in the yard with my dad and just wanting to be a professional football player. And it probably changed seasonally. I think I wanted to be in the NBA, and then I wanted to be in the MLB. But the NFL was always a dream of mine, and just to be able to do that and live it out is a blessing in itself. But to do it in a city like Chicago, where the franchise and the people are as supported as they are while you're here in this sports city, I think was the biggest thing for me to be able to experience that and live that dream out to the fullest.
How did you make that transition from football to country music?
That was a forced transition.
Yeah.
That was just one of those things that it actually wasn't. It was a very natural thing for me. When I got hurt, I leaned on music. I started writing songs. It was therapeutic for me, and I never imagined it being anything. I never imagined me playing songs for people. That was something solely to get me through a dark time in my life, and it created a new passion for me to be able to write those stories and create those things and just go to those places and musically that really just kind of fell into my lap after I got done playing.
So no one was surprised? Like your friends and family weren't like, what, you sing? They were used to this.
No, I think they probably all are still like, I don't know if they think I can sing yet. It was never a thing. I'd played a couple instruments growing up. Like I played the saxophone when I was in high school for a little bit, but it wasn't cool to be in the band, so I was just going back to do sports. This was never on the radar. I don't think anybody in my family or anybody that knew me ever would imagine this. I would 100% would have set out a funnel back into coaching or some part of football just because that was such a big part of my life. But I had always loved music just with sports and that kind of coincide. When I started creating it, it created a new fire in me that I never knew it existed. So I really, really enjoy kind of where I'm at in life right now.
Now, Zach, we're going to get to tonight. You're opening up for Sam Hunt. But I got a story we got to talk about first about why it's so special you're opening up for Sam Hunt tonight, okay? So back when I met you, you're playing for the Bears. You called in my radio show every Monday morning talking about the recap and everything, right? We shared a mutual love for Sam Hunt, okay? We love the artist Sam Hunt. He's, I think, both of our favorites. Now, there's a story, I would love for you to share it, where I had an extra ticket for a Sam Hunt concert. And you had some major things going on in Nebraska, but you still managed to get there. Why don't you explain the path that got us together at the Sam Hunt concert back, I think, in 2017?
So when you actually called me, I was in the middle of a workout with my trainer in Nebraska. And I don't remember all the details of what I had going on that evening, but
there was a special, it was Kristen's, it was your wife's.
Oh, it was a wedding.
A wedding, yes.
He's like,
look, he's like,
He's like, I forgot all about that.
We probably shouldn't have told people that.
No, I think
I was somewhere else that night.
it makes tonight way more special, bro. So explain, like, so you had this big wedding, your wife's cousin was getting married.
Yeah.
And what'd you do?
He forgot about it.
So I was mid-workout, and I was like, dude, I got to get to this concert. So obviously she knows, you know, how I feel about Sam and how I love, just drawn to his music and all of that. So I called her, I was like, hey, Roman's got extra tickets, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, I can't go. I can't miss my cousin's wedding. So I called my dad, and I just needed a road dog. I needed a road dog with me. So I called him, and he was in the middle of mowing the yard. And I'm like, Dad, I need an 8-hour road trip, like, right now. He's like, what? I'm like, we're driving to Tinley Park in Chicago for a Sam Hunt concert. And he's like, all right. And went in, showered. We hopped in the car within like 30 minutes, drove to Tinley Park to watch that. And that was probably one of the coolest things that we've got to do, because obviously, you know, that we love Sam and his music, and kind of just be able to do that impromptu thing is a cool story we'll hold on to for a while.
And tonight you're opening up for Sam Hunt at the McHenry Music Fest. Talk about a full circle moment, bro. Explain how you feel opening up for, honestly, one of your musical idols.
A bit surreal. And, you know, I've playing in the league for a long time, and I've ran across some guys. I've, you know, Peyton and Tom, and like there's guys that I've met and I know and never really had been, I guess, starstruck in a sense. I haven't met Sam yet today. I probably will be a little bit starstruck when I see him, just because I was such a fan of his music and his story of, you know, him being a former athlete and then going to Nashville and being a songwriter and then turning that into being an artist. And so everything that he's done, I was drawn to, you know, the sound of it and his kind of new sound that he was doing, and rhythmically and doing all the things that he did, blending genres. I was so drawn to it. So to be able to be here and open up for him, it's kind of crazy, because I had dreamt of playing in the NFL. I dreamt of doing those things and catching touchdowns on Monday Night Football. I've never imagined or dreamt of opening up for Sam Hunt. And to be here today is kind of crazy for me. So I'll soak it all in, and I'll be ready for the night. But hopefully we get to meet him here sometime later today.
Let me ask you this, because I actually first became aware of your music through my kids. They were listening to your song, All Gas, No Brakes. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a country fan, but I'm like, who are you guys listening to? And I listened, and I'm like, man, this dude got some swag. And then I saw the face, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm married, so I'm not flirting. I'm just making a statement. And I felt like your style is a little bit different than the traditional of what we're used to hearing. What is your style? Because you got a little swag, a little more swaggy than some of the others.
It's a hard thing for me to pinpoint, because when I started writing, obviously I was drawn to the kind of country pop thing. My last couple songs that I've put out, my last EP that I put out in June, I don't know that if it really falls into a country category at all. It's more of like a singer-songwriter thing. And it took me a while to figure out who I was as an artist. When I started writing, when I put out All Gas, No Brakes and Some Things Ain't You and those early songs, that's just what I knew at the time. You know, I was listening to Sam Hunt, I was listening to some of that type of music, and then I started writing, and I found out who I was as an artist. What I wanted to write about was, or what I was writing about was more true to who I was, traveling and love songs and the depth of kind of life in general. And so it's changed a little bit. I got a ton of music, a ton of new music coming out here, I'd say within the next year. So it's definitely took a little bit of a pivot. I don't know where to pinpoint that, but I'd say it's leaning into that singer-songwriter vibe right now.
Can you explain the different energies of preparing, like, so a Sunday before kickoff, how you feel like the energy-wise, compared to right before you go on stage and perform your music? Can you kind of compare the two? Is one more nerve-wracking? Is one, you know, explain the energies.
A little bit of both. They're all, the energies are the same. The nervousness, the anxiousness, they're the same. Like I feel almost like I'm going into game day every time I'm going to step on stage.
Cool.
And The only difference is I don't have a physical threat of someone trying to like take me out.
Right.
I'm sure the groupies show up though.
Yeah, right. A different kind of physical threat.
The groupie, I said I'm sure the groupies show up though.
No. We don't got nothing to do with that yet. And so like the anxiousness and stuff like that still exists. Like I was playing, and I think that's just wanting to perform well, and still kind of trying to figure out who I am and what I'm doing on stage. Like, what do I got to do with my hands? Like Kevin Hart. And but it's still very much gives me that type of performance feeling that I kind of missed when the game went away. It's just I don't have that physical threat of people coming at me anymore.
Yeah. I do want to say, because obviously I have a brand with my wife, one of the coolest things that I've seen when you performed at Old Crow and Smokehouse in Wrigleyville, your wife, Kristen, who we love, she's awesome. When you were performing, she was on like the dance floor, staring and singing every word, and I thought that was so endearing to watch how much she just loves you and supports you now in two different careers, right?
And crazy careers. I have to say, these are she's on an adventure with
Yes. So what does it mean to have a partner like that? You just said she's kind of setting up merch right now. What does it mean to have a partner like that support you? Like, it was just so cool to watch her watch you and how proud she was of you.
I love it, man. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at without her for sure. And I think when I got done playing ball, she probably thought that, we can be done and go back to kind of a normal life.
Right.
And then I started doing this. She probably thinks every time we come out here, you're freaking crazy. But she's been with me by my side since the start, and I couldn't imagine any other way. She's actually going to be running my tracks tonight, so she's kind of the jack of all trades. Help with merch, help with the tracks. We kind of just kind of get in where we fit in and see how it all plays out. So she's been the absolute key to keeping this going a little bit.
It kind of makes sense. When you play football, you're on the road. Now you're performing in this way, you're on the road. Someone watching right now, maybe they've never seen you perform and they want to come see you at the McHenry Music Fest. What will they see when you take that stage?
Say that again. I'm sorry. You just cut out at the end.
I said someone that may have never seen you perform, they're watching right now, they're like, I'm going to go to the fest and see you.
Yeah.
What will they see when you hit the stage?
Oh, man, it's going to be fun. You're going to get like, when I perform music, I want roller coasters, right? There's so much emotions that come from music and come from songs. So you're going to get some energy. You're going to get some storytelling. It might get a little bit deep. It might get sad. It'll be happy. Like, I want to feel every single emotion, and I want to display that to people, and I want them to feel that, because that's what I get out of music. Like, music takes me to places. Like, I can go back to a memory just off of hearing a song and be like, all right, I know exactly where I was at when I heard that. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And I think I'm just trying to create memories for people. If they come here, I want you to feel good. I want you to feel every bit of emotion that you get. It's artwork. It literally is. So whatever it does to you and wherever it takes you, I think that's my goal, to kind of just take you on an emotional roller coaster.
Awesome. And you know the phrase, God closes the door and opens a window. I think you're living proof of that. I mean, that really happened in your life. You know, the football door closed, and look at the windows open for you to pursue your other passions.
That's a nice door and a nice window. Let me tell you, two nice options.
You're living proof of that phrase, man.
I appreciate you, man. I'll tell you what, playing for the Chicago Bears was an absolute pleasure of my life, man. I would never trade that for anything. And to kind of lead it to where it led me today, that's the city of Chicago, and the people of Chicago will always hold a special place in my heart.
I love it. Zach Miller, it has been an absolute pleasure. It really has to speak with you. And I wish you the best of luck on your music journey. It looks like it's only up from here.
Thank you.
And hey,
I hope so.
We're not stalking, but we're coming to the fest.
We'll see you in a little bit.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Come on.
All right.
I can't wait. Hit me up when you get here.
Definitely.
Thank you for being here. So after the break, we're going to talk more about the McHenry Music Fest and really anybody watching what you can expect. With Kenzie and Roman, we'll be right back.
It's Fox.
a really cool nugget about why it was created and how it benefits the town. Why don't you go into this?
Okay, so Wayne Jett, who is the mayor of McHenry, which is, by the way, what a great name.
Yeah.
Wayne Jett's like the secret superhero name, right?
Hilarious.
So he is the mayor, and he created this with his wife Amber, and obviously the other parties were involved, but they led that. And they kicked off like 2021 to 2024. They've had 3 successful shows. This will be the 4th, and 100% of the proceeds go back into the McHenry community.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they've raised over $1.2 million now, and the things that they focus on to build in the community and the projects that they want to fund are usually children focused. So they're making splash pads and better parks and things like that. So it's really cool. It's a fun thing for, you know, McHenry as a whole and other people, but then it makes their community better at the same time. So
it's a total like winning formula.
I know. I was like, we should all be doing this.
We should all be doing it.
So not only amazing show, amazing lineup, which is going to, but there's like a 50-50 raffle there. There's over 15 different food vendors, so you can get your food on. I know I love to eat, so we're going to be covering that while we're there. And you know what I love? And I bring it up every time we talk about a show. I want there to be parking available, and I want it to be free. And this has both.
Free parking.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm about free. I'm going to pay for everything else. Let me get my car there. Let me get me there, okay? I love that. It's going to be an awesome weekend.
So musically, tonight's kind of the country night. You saw Zach Miller, you know. So tonight we have Sam Hunt, who is mine and Zach's favorite artist. Sam Hunt is headlining. Dustin Lynch, who's huge as well. Red Farron, who's big. Ingrid Andress and Zach Miller are all tonight. It's the country night.
Okay. Yes.
Tomorrow's more like rock / alternative rock.
Alternative rock.
Slightly Stupid, Dirty Heads, The Elevators, and The Expendables are tomorrow. And then Sunday's like potpourri because the headliner is Bailey Zimmerman, who's country. Next is Flo Rida, who's not country.
Yes, I saw that.
Brian Martin and Bella Kane are rounding out Sunday. So Sunday's kind of like a potpourri. But bottom line, these are some big names coming to McHenry. And again, I want to reiterate that it's a festival that was put on by the community for the community. And some of these things like splash pads and everything don't get done without these festivals. It's a winning, everybody wins in this situation.
Have you seen it like grow? Because I would imagine like, given the names that you just gave me, this has exploded.
Yes. Well, it's their 4th festival.
This is pretty impressive for the 4th year.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you from a country standpoint, to get Sam Hunt on tonight is really, really big. And Bailey Zimmerman on Sunday, he's like the new stud right now. So like to get both of those bookend headliners, that it shows me the festival is definitely growing in the right direction.
But if you look in the past of who they've had, there has not been duds of lineups. They've actually consistently knocked it out of the park with huge acts. So Wayne Jett actually represents some artists. Interestingly enough, apparently he does everything. I don't know this man very well, but I'm like, I'm fascinated by him. He's also friends with Ed Worm, who runs like Joe's on Weed Street, huge country. So they have found the right partners to make sure this immediately started successful.
Yes.
You know, and it's been that from the jump. Absolutely.
How is it in terms of the crowd? Are we talking like a huge festival? Is there one stage that everybody plays on? How does it work?
Well, I will say our first time going is tonight. So, but I know for a fact, I've seen pictures, it's a sea of people, you know? So anytime you get a concert with big headliners and big artists, you know, it turns into like a sea of people. You know, when the show starts at 3 o'clock or whatever, it won't be as crowded. Then it gets more crowded as the night goes on. And then headliner comes in and it's a sea of people.
You're going to have that. And I will go over times really fast. So 2 o'clock, parking opens. 3:30 is gates, and roughly, because you know all these celebrity musicians, 4:30 is when they're supposed to start hitting the stage. So you're gonna have like almost like the mini music festival lineup, where music from 4:30 into the night on that main stage. You can bring like blankets and chairs, which is awesome. Because this is like a family community. This is really a family-friendly event. Even all the artists, it's not like this edgy scenario. So really family-friendly, but you can't bring like tailgating. Don't walk in with a grill and a cooler, okay? You're not camping out, but you can get a little comfy and buy your food there.
I love that.
And one more thing too, the weather this weekend is going to be perfect. I mean, you know, it's a coin toss in September, right? But this is the weekend. If you're going to plan a festival, this is the weekend in September.
This is like what you're praying for. Yes, absolutely.
This, I don't want to say it, but I gotta say it. Is this the booty shorts Daisy Dukes? Because you know how you roll sometimes.
Okay, hey now.
I'm just being honest at these concerts.
Tia, every festival for her is the booty short.
Every day of my life.
Every one of them.
That is not true. I have a jean
I've seen
dress.
some of the pictures.
I'm gonna look like you, but with a dress instead of like
Tia,
that. I have a jean.
It won't be this covered up. Don't you try to fool me.
It could be January, a winter wonderland festival, and that is booty shorts and
then I'm a snow bunny.
You got it, Flaunt.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama. I need the support, apparently.
Anyone that you're really looking forward to seeing, maybe that you've never seen before?
I feel that way about Bailey. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I know you're ready to
You always do in my life anyways.
I know. Just get comfy because I'm going to talk. So I'm excited to see Bailey Zimmerman on Sunday. I've tried to see him a couple times now, and it's never panned out. I love like a rugged, lustful, like all the songs are like, I want her back. And I'm very into that, so I want to hear that. And I'm really excited, and I always mess up her last name, Ingrid Endress. Yeah. I say Endress. So
Endress, tomato.
I think she's a really unique sounding artist. She almost gives me like kind of a bohemian country, and I love that real natural, whimsical.
Here's a nugget.
She's tonight.
Here's a nugget. She's performing tonight, and Sam Hunt's performing tonight. They have a song together, a #1 single called Wistful Drinking. Will they do it together tonight?
They
Who
may.
knows?
I hope so.
And to answer the question on my behalf, I love Sam Hunt. Can't wait to see him again. I will say Florida has hit after hit after hit after hit.
It's a fun show.
That slot on Sunday with Florida is going to be just nonstop hits.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, how much does it cost for people to get tickets? Is there a fee for the tickets?
Well, it depends. So it's a huge variety. Obviously, there's fee, there's general admission, there are VIP packages, there's multiple day.
So you got to go look.
So if you're going on the website, because I'm not going to do, nobody wants to hear the exact breakdown. So if you go to their website right now, because there are special VIP where there is special food and stuff in there as well. So you can do a price breakdown, multiple day, single day, VIP multiple day, or single day. So there is tons of options and things that make it more affordable. So that way.
The parking's free.
And parking is free.
Parking's free.
My favorite.
Would you tell people to get there as soon as parking opens? What do you think? Because this sounds like it may be crowded.
Yeah, and now Friday, I think it's going to be crowded. And do not wait till later. But Friday, I think, will give you the most grace because you have people trying to get there after work.
School, too.
And school. So you're now dealing with those. Because Saturday and Sunday, get there as early as possible. People are off. They're going to be waiting in that line because they want to get that guaranteed parking. Because, again, this isn't necessarily next to a bunch of stuff. Well, I mean, like, they have a big open field that they're doing this in, right? So you want to get there, get the good parking, and eliminate the lines.
And I think with the weather being so great, too, like, you know, think about it. If there was, like, it was cold or rainy, it's going to deter people. I think the opposite is true when it's a perfect weekend in Chicago, or a perfect weekend in McHenry, I should say. So either way, I mean, I think you're going to get a population boost because the weather is so perfect. What else do you want to do on a Friday night besides seeing Sam Hunt in your neighborhood and the weather is perfect, you know?
I agree. Anything you would tell people that may be watching right now and they've never gone to this before that you feel like they should take with them?
I do. I strongly encourage the blankets, like I said earlier, the blankets and seats. Not every festival allows that. You don't always see that. And you are going to be there a long time. Again, you're kind of going for a mini music festival. That's what this is each day. This is not one performance. You do not want to be stuck standing or sitting in the grass. If it does get, who knows, there could be a muddy spot in that field and now you're miserable. So I highly encourage, take advantage of the blanket and chair situation. You have a spot saved where you go get your food. Get comfy. Kind of Ravinia-esque, right?
I want to add, because of personal experience, and you know this, comfy shoes. Comfy shoes, because in case you missed it a couple months ago, my beautiful wife wore the most uncomfortable cowboy boots of all time, and I paid for it by her crying as we were walking home from the festival. So, comfy
It wasn't an uncomfortable festival. It wasn't the shoe's fault.
This one's comfy, though. This one's comfy.
This is a comfy festival.
But what, I mean, in all seriousness, though, as a woman, what is a suitable shoe? Because I've had this like balancing act too, because you want to look cute. Some shoes don't really match the fit.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you wearing tonight on your feet?
I'm doing, because we're going on the country night tonight, I am doing cowboy boots. So that's
But you can sit down. So
yeah. And cowboy boots are easy. When you're, for a girl, I mean, come on. I mean, if you can't handle a cowboy boot, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I guess you're a flip-flop.
I'm sorry, honey,
but you couldn't handle
You were crying with cowboy boots when you came back from Morgan Wallen.
You are so, oh my gosh.
I know about this, so I'm like,
I was in a high-heeled cowboy boot that we stood in for over 7 hours. And then because you were cheap about the we had to hike it back for like 4 more hours.
Are you cheap?
Well, the good news is parking's free tonight, so cheap or no cheap, we're parking in the lot tonight.
Are you cheap?
No, I'd say I'm more frugal. I'm smart with my money.
I like that. Be smart with your money.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. In your mind, I know you haven't gone to this yet, but just kind of looking at everything, how does this compare to other music festivals?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say that, you know, listen, McHenry is one city, Chicago is a different city. So I would say if you're comparing it to Lollapalooza Lollapaloozas, Windy City Smokeouts of the world, by nature, they're going to be bigger, right? But, I mean, honestly, for the suburbs, for the McHenry area, this is a big festival. And I want to reiterate, it's everybody wins. You guys, your family goes out, has a good time, you see great music, and your community benefits because all the money, over $1.2 million, goes back into your community. So it's a perfect festival.
I'm going to be a person that says I prefer this size over the congestion. Again, I have so many people hit me up because I have to work at Lollapalooza and work at Windy City Smokeout, and they're like, hey, do you think I could bring my kids? And it's like, you can. It's a lot. And it's like, this is so nice where it's like you don't have to get stressed. You do get good parking. I think you feel safer. I think it's a more calm environment. There's a lot of people, including myself, that prefer this level of music festival with huge acts, by the way. It's not like it's not just all like local bands or something, right? So this is kind of the sweet spot if these like large city music festivals feel a bit overwhelming, which is totally understandable.
Where can people go online to get tickets, do you know?
It's literally McHenry Music Festival, so you can go find it very easy.
And it's today, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes.
All right, perfect. And you guys are going.
We'll be there tonight.
You got to give us a review. Okay, so coming up, you weren't prepared for this, but we're going to have a little game, a little fun. I'm not going to give you a hint. We'll give you the hint when we come back. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
I'm nervous.
It's going to be a good time. We'll be right back.
When you hire the postman, you know you're going to get results fast on your personal injury case. That means you can do what you want to do most, get back to life. If you've been injured in an accident, don't wait. Call us or visit our website today.
Now is the time to update your floors with Luna's half-off sale. Get half-off carpet, hardwood, and laminate, padding and materials, and installation. It's your whole project half off. Half off soft carpet in your bedroom. Half off beautiful hardwood in the family room. Half off stain-resistant laminate in the kitchen. Get the floors you've always wanted with Luna's half-off sale. Reserve your free in-home appointment at luna.com or call 773-202-LUNA.
At Shriners Children's, we're home to the world's leading pediatric orthopedic care. Because so many life-changing advancements start here. We provide access to the best doctors and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. We're the first place to turn for the most common or complex orthopedic conditions. Home to possibility and empowering kids to achieve the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Attention Chicago area churchgoers. If you or a loved one suffered abuse by a priest or member of the clergy, call our confidential clergy abuse attorney hotline at 773-900-5580. Billions of dollars have already been paid out by the church to clergy abuse victims. Act now to get your sexual abuse claim timely filed. You may be entitled to significant compensation for the abuses you suffered. Call 773-900-5580 now.
Renovation, meet innovation. With the Bath Fitter PermaFit solution, we measure with laser precision so your tub fits perfectly over your old one. We install in a day with no demo or mess. Smart, cost-effective, and guaranteed for life. Bath Fitter. It just fits.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. We had a little debate about spouses and their phones in the break. We're going to talk about the phone in a second, but we're going to play a game of this or that, and this is festival style. So this is really easy.
Okay. Oh, okay, because you were snickering.
I know. I was just having a little fun inside, because I know when you guys played the game with me with country, I knew nothing. Okay. Okay, so here's the game of this or that. If you had to choose pop or country, which one are you going with?
I think on both of our behalf, country no matter what. Country, hands down.
Now, am I supposed to answer for him and he answers for me?
No, you answer
right?
individual. You're individuals.
Okay. Got it.
Married but individual.
Yes.
Rock or hip hop?
Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Okay, I like this. Music festival or small venue show?
Small venue.
Small venue.
Okay. Dancing in the crowd or sitting back with some snacks?
Snacks.
We differ on this one. Dancing in the crowd. Yeah.
Dancing in the crowd.
Dancing and singing in the crowd. Yeah.
What would be your go-to snack?
At a show?
Yeah, if you're sitting back.
Like tacos.
Okay. All right, and do you have a dance? What is your dance move?
Let's go.
Yeah, I do my Michael Jackson. No, honestly, this is cheesy, but we kind of like have my arms around her. We sing together. We sway together. It's kind of like more like we interact with the song together. You know?
I can get with that. I can get with that. Okay, vinyl records or streaming playlists?
Whoo. For me, easy. I got turntables in
Vinyl.
my basement.
I knew it.
I'm a former DJ. I got vinyl everywhere, vinyl all day.
I knew it.
That's true, man. I like to keep things simple.
Yeah,
I don't need
just
to
be
be
done
setting
with
all that up.
Okay, karaoke or silent disco?
Oh, karaoke for sure. If you guys put on like Young MC Bust a Move right now, I will rap every single word
to the song.
To the song, absolutely done.
I have silent disco. I have this preconceived idea that people think I'll be able to sing well, so they end up incredibly disappointing.
You can't sing?
No.
At all?
No.
I think she is a great.
Give me something.
No.
I'll give you. Tia, I'll give you a little nugget. I'll give you a little nugget really fast. She did she sang a demo that my group gave to Pip.
Live concert. I think I know the answer to this for both of you.
I'm a live concert guy. We differ on this. I love concerts. I really do. Babe?
I'm a road trip. I would rather.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't expect that of you.
I know, because all I do is go to concerts, so I probably take it for granted now, but I like I have a good seat in my car. I have a snack in my car.
A taco.
I have good parking in my car. This is what I'm talking about, baby.
You better have a good seat in your car.
Exactly.
Okay, so festival bonus round here. Corn dogs or funnel cake?
Corn dog.
Ooh, oh man, I love both those actually. I'm not gonna lie, I love both of them. I would say funnel cake because I do have a sweet tooth, and man, those things are good.
When I was pregnant, I craved hot dogs so bad. That was like a huge craving.
Where are you going? Portillo's?
We would go anywhere with hot dogs, and one day we were craving, and we drove up to a restaurant. It was closed. I started crying. I was pregnant. I thought about it. He's like, we can find another hot dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Glow sticks, cowboy hats.
Cowboy hats.
I love a good accessory.
Front row or back by the food trucks?
By the food truck? Food truck?
Give me front row. I'd say a little hacker point here, but the sound booth is the best because that's when it actually sounds the absolute best. But there's something about being front row for sure.
Okay, so you got your phone.
I do.
This is a little spin-off from
I do.
That nobody saw coming. All right, so I want you to call. Can I get a dry erase board real quick, somebody?
Oh my goodness.
I want you to call someone.
Okay.
You could literally pick anyone that you think will pick up.
Okay.
That you can talk to. Call them up.
Right now?
Yep, right now. And you're going to put them on speaker, too.
On speaker?
Yep. Come on, you got to get to it. We got 2 minutes. Wait, I'll meet you. There you go. Thank you. Yep. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see how this goes, guys.
She's watching the baby.
Oh.
He's calling his mom who's watching our baby so he can be here.
Let's see what happens here.
She always answers the phone.
Well, she's probably on a 20-second delay watching the TV. She'll find out in a minute.
Okay. Call someone else.
Okay.
Who else do you think will pick up?
My dad always answers.
Okay. Hurry up. We got 2 minutes.
I know. Sorry.
Okay,
I got it.
I feel like my dad is.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, my dad's a talker, so he may eat up the 2 minutes.
I gotta tell him not to curse too.
I know. We're talking about windows.
Don't tell him you're on TV.
Oh, don't tell him.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. I
You
know that.
just tell him don't cuss.
Tell him quiet though.
Okay.
Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing, Troy?
Pretty good. How you doing? What are we barking about?
Meow. 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 Look up here, look up here, look up here. Look up. Don't curse, by the way. Don't curse. Please don't curse.
Please don't curse.
Are you drinking or something this morning? What are you doing?
Just want to let you know that I love you, man. I really do. I love you. And thank you for producing the best daughter in the world.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We gotta go. We'll call you later. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing.
I've been dying to do that on this show, and it went exactly the way that I thought.
He goes, have you been drinking? He was worried about you.
He's probably got a meeting at work, and this is what happened.
Oh my God. My dad will pick up no matter what because he's scared of emergencies, and he could be leading like a window meeting right now.
Oh my God! Don't you think we needed that laugh?
We did need that. We needed that.
It's been a really interesting week.
My dad is gonna be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Thank you.
He had a good sport.
That was embarrassing for me. That was.
Yes.
It would have been better if it was my mom. But
it's harder with my dad.
Yeah, it's your dad.
Weird.
But that's okay. You can call him and explain.
I will.
And we'll apologize to him later. Thank you for being back with us on the show. I'm sure we'll have you back again. Enjoy the festival.
Yes.
Have a great weekend, everybody. You know what? Be kind. Be kind this weekend. We need a lot more kindness, a lot more laughter. We'll see you next week right here on Chicago. Meow. Meow. Bye.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
And now at noon, protesters swarm a suburban ICE facility, pushing back against the president's immigration crackdown. A change of heart. President Trump is deploying the National Guard to fight crime, but not here in Chicago. And check your email. Maybe the spam folder on this one. Facebook is sending out more than $700 million in settlement payout We'll talk all about it. Want to say good afternoon to you. Happy Friday, everyone, and thanks for joining us now at noon. I'm Anita Blanton, and we do begin with breaking news. The man suspected of killing Illinois native, conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been arrested by police, and they say that he was turned in by someone he knew. Connor Hansen has the latest from Utah.
Less than 2 days after Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, investigators say they do have a suspect in custody.
In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie.
The manhunt for conservative activist Charlie Kirk's alleged killer ending Thursday night when a suspect was turned into police near St. George, Utah.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
President Trump telling Fox News a minister identified the person seen in these photos and contacted a U.S. Marshal. That ultimately led to the suspect's father getting involved.
Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing.
Investigators had been combing through thousands of tips to bring an end to the search. Yesterday, the FBI released a video of the man they believe shot Kirk sprinting across the rooftop before dropping to the ground and leaving campus. The weapon used, a bolt-action rifle, was later recovered in the woods nearby.
Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox has called this a political assassination and says he's prepared to seek the death penalty. In Orem, Utah, Connor Hansen, Fox 32, Chicago.
And we're following more breaking news. President Trump announcing that he will send the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns there. This is some of the file video of National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. They've been there since the beginning of August. They are expected to stay in the nation's capital until November. In regards to the troops going to Memphis, Trump says that he has support of the mayor there and governor of Tennessee. Still, the president says that he would have preferred going to Chicago, suggesting the city is a hostile place with, quote, professional agitators. Both Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson have been very vocal about their pushback to militarizing the National Guard. Well, let's give you a little moment to take a breath and a live look outside right now as we are expecting an unseasonably warm weekend. Meteorologist Mark Strell standing in right now with a look at your forecast. And Mark, is this warmth coming with some rain?
Coming tomorrow. Looks like we could have some showers and thunderstorms around Chicago. But if you have weekend plans, we still have Sunday, and Sunday still looks great. This is a view up the Mag Mile. You can already see some cloud cover beginning to roll in. Those clouds are going to continue to thicken as we go throughout the later afternoon into the evening. High temperatures today. Well, you're right on the mark. We've got temperatures up into the middle 80s, 85 today. That's the forecast here in Chicago. Temperatures in the mid 80s across most of the region, low 80s to the north and to the northwest, suburbs. And as we look towards the north, we see some showers and thunderstorms starting to fire up across Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin coming up in the next couple of hours. This is the line of showers and thunderstorms that will strengthen as we go through the overnight hours and through tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. I'll give you the timing coming up.
Mark, we'll see you soon. Just announced 2 men have been charged with burglary, accused of breaking into cargo containers on a train track in Chicago. This happened back on August 27th. Railroad police caught a group of 3 men in the act. 2 men were arrested at the scene. The 3rd man got into a black Tesla and struck a sheriff's police squad car as he got away. The 2 in custody are both facing felony charges. A traffic alert from Chicago officials. Downtown streets could be temporarily closed during Mexican Independence Day celebrations this weekend. For years, car caravans of revelers have flooded downtown during Mexican Independence Day weekend, causing traffic snarls on a lot of congested streets. The city says if those celebrations get too crowded, the Central Business District will be closed to non-residents and workers. Mexican Independence Day is actually Tuesday, but the celebrations are expected to run throughout the weekend. Now, happening right now, The Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights is gathering at Chicago City Hall. The meeting was postponed last week. The committee will be focusing on Operation Midway Blitz. That is the federal immigration enforcement that launched this week here. The Department of Homeland Security also saying that it has arrested more than a dozen people since Monday, describing the men as the worst of the worst offenders. Immigrant advocates say that an ICE processing office in Broadview is being used as a detention center, and agents are picking up more than just criminals. This is a live look at the facility and the protesters outside there. They've been surrounding the building since early this morning. Believe they said they were going to be there for about 17 hours. Joni Lum takes us in the crowd.
There are more police and more enforcement at the Broadview ICE detention facility for this protest. Protesters tried to block vehicles and people from moving about. Protesters tried to stop workers from reporting to the Broadview ICE building. Enforcement dressed in military uniforms carried